Food is something that stays close to my heart, and when I think about my favorite food, I feel calm and comfortable inside. I often think about food when I wake up in the morning, and I think about what I will eat later in the day. My favorite food is not only about taste, but also about feelings, memories, and simple moments in life. When I eat my favorite food, I feel relaxed and happy, and I forget about stress and worry for a while. I like food that is warm, familiar, and easy to enjoy, and I like food that makes me feel at home. My favorite food is something I can eat many times without feeling bored, and every time I eat it, it feels gentle and pleasant. I enjoy the smell before I even take the first bite, and I like to sit quietly and enjoy the moment. Eating my favorite food is not something I rush, because I want to feel each taste slowly and clearly. I like to chew slowly and breathe calmly, and I like to let the flavor stay in my mouth for a short time. Sometimes I eat alone, and sometimes I eat with people I care about, but the feeling is always warm and peaceful. My favorite food reminds me that simple things can bring real happiness, and I do not need anything fancy or expensive to feel good. I often smile when I see my favorite food on the table, and my heart feels light and easy. I think food is a kind of quiet comfort, and my favorite food is the best example of that comfort. When I was younger, I remember eating this food with my family, and those memories are still clear in my mind. We sat together, talked softly, and shared our day while eating slowly. The sound of plates and spoons was gentle, and the room felt safe and warm. Even now, when I eat this food, I feel like I am back in that moment again. The taste brings back memories without words, and I feel close to people even if they are not there with me. I think that is why this food is special to me, because it connects the past and the present in a quiet way. I like how the food looks simple, with soft colors and a clean shape, and it never feels heavy or too strong. The flavor is balanced and kind, and it does not hurt my stomach or make me feel tired. After eating, I feel satisfied but still light, and I can continue my day with a calm mind. Sometimes I eat this food in the morning, sometimes at lunch, and sometimes in the evening, and it always feels right. It fits any time of day, and it fits my mood easily. When I am busy, it gives me energy, and when I am tired, it gives me comfort. I like how easy it is to prepare, and I like how it does not need many steps or tools. Watching it being prepared is also relaxing, and the simple movements feel natural and slow. I enjoy hearing the soft sounds during cooking, and I enjoy waiting patiently. Waiting makes the food feel more valuable, and it makes the moment more special. When the food is ready, I like to take a deep breath before eating, and I like to feel thankful for the meal. I think about how food supports my body and my life, and I feel grateful for that. My favorite food teaches me to slow down and enjoy the present moment. It reminds me that happiness can be quiet and gentle, not loud or fast. I do not need music or a screen when I eat this food, because the experience itself is enough. I like to focus on the taste, the smell, and the feeling of being full in a comfortable way. Sometimes I close my eyes for a moment while eating, and I just enjoy the calm feeling. When I travel or stay in a new place, I often miss my favorite food. I think about it when I feel tired or homesick, and it gives me a sense of connection. When I finally eat it again, I feel relieved and peaceful. It feels like meeting an old friend who understands me well. My favorite food does not change much over time, and that makes me feel safe. Even if the world changes, this food stays the same, and I can always come back to it. I think many people have a favorite food like this, something simple and meaningful. It may not look special to others, but to the person who loves it, it is very important. I do not talk loudly about my favorite food, but I enjoy it deeply. When someone asks me about it, I feel happy to share, and I like to see their reaction. Sometimes they try it and smile, and sometimes they feel curious. I think food is a way to connect with people without many words. Sharing a meal can bring people closer, even if they are different. My favorite food has helped me feel close to others many times. When I cook it for someone, I feel like I am giving a part of my comfort and care. I try to make it slowly and carefully, because I want them to feel the same warmth I feel. When they eat it and feel relaxed, I feel happy too. Food has this quiet power, and my favorite food shows that power clearly. Even on a bad day, this food can make things feel a little better. It does not solve problems, but it gives me strength to face them. I think that is enough. I do not need food to be perfect, I just need it to be honest and kind. My favorite food is like that, honest and kind, always there, always gentle, and always ready to bring a small moment of peace into my day. When I continue to think about my favorite food, my mind stays calm and steady, and the images come slowly and clearly. I remember the first time I realized that this food was special to me, and it was not a loud moment or a big surprise. It was a quiet feeling that grew over time, little by little, as I ate it again and again. Each time, it felt familiar, and that familiarity brought comfort. I noticed that even when my mood changed, the food stayed the same, and that made me feel balanced. On days when I feel busy and rushed, eating my favorite food helps me slow down. I sit down, take a breath, and let the moment settle. I do not need to think about many things while eating, because the food guides my attention gently. The taste is not sharp or strong, but smooth and steady, and it stays with me without pushing too hard. I like how it warms my body and makes me feel grounded. Sometimes I eat it in silence, and sometimes there is soft talk around me, but either way feels right. The food does not ask for attention, but it receives it naturally. I think that is one reason I love it so much. It fits into my life easily, without effort. I do not need a special reason to eat it, and I do not need to wait for a special day. Any normal day can become a little better with this food. When I prepare it myself, I feel connected to the process, and my hands move in a calm rhythm. I do not rush, because there is no need to rush. The steps are simple, and each step feels familiar. I know what comes next, and that gives me a sense of control and peace. While preparing it, my thoughts slow down, and my breathing becomes steady. I enjoy this quiet time, just me and the food, moving together. When the food is finally ready, I feel a small sense of satisfaction, even before eating. It feels good to know that I made something comforting for myself. When I take the first bite, I feel a gentle happiness spread through my body. It is not excitement, but calm joy, like sitting in a warm room on a cool day. I chew slowly, and I let the taste stay with me. I notice how my body reacts, how my shoulders relax, and how my mind becomes quieter. This food helps me return to myself, especially when I feel lost or tired. Sometimes I eat it when I come home after a long day, and it feels like a soft welcome. The day may have been hard, but this moment is gentle. I like to eat it at the table, without standing or walking, because I want to give it my full attention. Eating becomes a small ritual, something I respect and enjoy. I think rituals are important, even small ones like this. They help us feel stable in a changing world. My favorite food is part of my daily rhythm, even if I do not eat it every day. Just knowing it is there gives me comfort. When I travel far from home, I sometimes look for this food or something similar. Even if it is not exactly the same, the idea of it helps me feel less alone. Food can do that, it can carry a feeling across distance and time. I think about how many people around the world have their own favorite food, something that means comfort and safety to them. We may eat different things, but the feeling is similar. That makes me feel connected to others, even people I have never met. My favorite food is simple, but simplicity does not mean less value. In fact, I think simple food often has more meaning, because it is honest and clear. There is nothing to hide, nothing to impress, just real taste and real feeling. I trust this food, and I trust how it makes me feel. When I share it with others, I hope they can feel a bit of that trust too. I do not expect them to love it as much as I do, but I hope they feel the warmth. Sharing food is a quiet way of saying that you care. It does not need big words or promises. A warm meal can say enough. Sometimes I think about the future and how my life may change, and I wonder if my favorite food will stay the same. I think it will, because even if my taste changes a little, the memory and feeling will remain. This food is part of my story, and stories stay with us. When I am older, I imagine eating this food slowly, maybe with more time and fewer worries. I imagine sitting by a window, watching the light change, and enjoying each bite. That image feels peaceful to me. Food can be a bridge between who we were, who we are, and who we will be. My favorite food is that bridge for me. It reminds me to be patient, to be present, and to be kind to myself. Even now, as I think about it, I feel calmer. The idea of this food is enough to bring a soft smile to my face. And so I continue to carry this simple joy with me, day after day, bite after bite, letting it quietly support my life in its gentle way. As I keep thinking about my favorite food, the feeling stays steady and warm, like a soft light that does not fade. I notice how this food fits into many small moments of my life, moments that may seem ordinary but feel important to me. On quiet mornings, when the day has just begun, this food feels gentle and welcoming. It does not wake me up suddenly, but slowly, like the sun rising through a window. I like to sit and eat without hurry, letting my mind wake up at the same time as my body. The taste feels familiar, and that familiarity gives me confidence for the day ahead. I feel ready to face simple tasks and small challenges. On busy afternoons, when time moves fast, this food becomes a short break. Even if I do not have much time, eating it helps me pause. For a few minutes, I am not thinking about work or plans, I am only thinking about the taste and the warmth. This short pause can change my mood and give me new energy. In the evening, when the day is ending, my favorite food feels like a soft closing. It helps me slow down and let go of the day. Eating it in the evening feels safe and calming, like returning to a quiet place. I think food can mark time in this way, helping us move gently from one part of the day to another. My favorite food does this naturally, without effort. I also notice how my body reacts to this food in a positive way. It feels easy to digest, and it does not make me feel heavy or uncomfortable. After eating, I feel balanced and calm. This makes me trust the food even more. I know that it supports me, not only emotionally but also physically. I think listening to our body is important, and my body clearly likes this food. That connection between taste and feeling makes the experience complete. Sometimes I eat my favorite food when I feel a little sad or lonely. I do not expect it to change my emotions completely, but it gives me a small comfort. It feels like someone sitting quietly with me, not saying anything, just being there. That kind of presence can be very powerful. I do not feel alone when I eat this food, even if I am by myself. It reminds me that care can be simple and quiet. I also eat this food on happy days, when I want to enjoy the moment even more. It does not take away from the happiness, but adds to it in a gentle way. It keeps me grounded, so the happiness feels real and steady. I think my favorite food helps me stay in balance, not too high and not too low. Balance is something I value, and this food supports that value. When I think about why I like this food so much, I realize it is not about strong flavors or exciting textures. It is about consistency and comfort. It is about knowing what to expect and enjoying that expectation. In a world where many things change quickly, having something steady is comforting. My favorite food is steady. It does not surprise me, but it does not bore me either. Each time I eat it, it feels just right. Sometimes I notice small differences, depending on how it is prepared or the mood I am in, but the core feeling stays the same. Those small differences keep the experience interesting, while the main feeling stays familiar. I like that balance between sameness and change. I also think about how this food connects to culture and tradition. Even if I do not think about it often, I know that this food has a place in everyday life for many people. It is not a special dish only for celebrations, but a food for normal days. That makes it feel honest and close to life. Eating it makes me feel connected to something larger, something shared. I may eat it in my own way, at my own table, but I know others are doing the same somewhere else. That thought feels comforting. It reminds me that we are not so different from each other. We all look for comfort, warmth, and simple joy. My favorite food offers that, not only to me, but to many people in different ways. When I imagine teaching someone how to make this food, I imagine doing it slowly and patiently. I would show each step with care, not rushing, letting them feel the process. I think cooking can be a form of quiet teaching, where you share more than just instructions. You share a way of being, a way of moving, a way of caring. My favorite food carries that spirit. It teaches patience and attention, even without words. I feel grateful that I have this food in my life. It may seem like a small thing, but small things often matter the most. They shape our days and support us in ways we may not notice at first. My favorite food is one of those small but important things. It stays with me, steady and calm, reminding me to slow down, to breathe, and to enjoy the simple pleasure of being present, one quiet bite at a time. As the thought of my favorite food stays with me, I begin to notice how deeply it is woven into my daily habits and quiet routines. It is not something I plan around in a strict way, but something that appears naturally, like a trusted companion. When I open the kitchen and think about what to eat, this food often comes to mind without effort. It feels easy to choose, and that ease removes a small weight from my day. I do not need to think too much or compare many options. I simply know what feels right. That feeling of knowing is comforting. It shows me that sometimes the best choices are the simplest ones. When I eat my favorite food regularly, I feel more stable, like my days have a gentle rhythm. Even when things around me feel uncertain, this small routine remains. I think routines like this help us feel safe. They give shape to our time and help us move through the day with less stress. My favorite food is part of that shape. It does not take much space, but it holds meaning. I notice that when I skip meals or eat in a rush, I feel more tired and unsettled. But when I take time to eat this food calmly, my whole day feels smoother. It is as if the food helps me reset. I also notice how eating slowly changes my experience. When I eat too fast, I miss the small details. But when I slow down, I can feel the texture, the warmth, and the gentle flavor more clearly. My favorite food invites slow eating. It does not push me to hurry. Each bite feels like an invitation to pause. I like that it encourages mindfulness without asking for effort. I simply follow the pace of the food. Sometimes I eat it while looking out of a window, watching people or trees or the sky. The simple act of eating becomes part of a larger quiet moment. The food, the view, and my thoughts come together naturally. I feel present, not pulled in many directions. This presence is something I value more and more as time goes on. Life can be busy and noisy, but moments like this help me return to myself. My favorite food supports that return. It does not distract me, but gently holds my attention. I think that is a rare quality. Many things in life ask for attention loudly, but this food does it softly. It is there, waiting, without pressure. I also think about how this food fits different seasons. In cooler weather, it feels warm and comforting, like a soft blanket. In warmer weather, it still feels light enough to enjoy without feeling heavy. That flexibility makes it even more special. It adapts to the time and place, just as I do. I do not need to change it much. It meets me where I am. When I feel low on energy, this food gives me quiet strength. It does not give a sudden burst, but a steady support. I feel nourished, not only in my body but also in my mind. I think food can affect our mood more than we realize. When we eat something that feels right, our thoughts become calmer. My favorite food does this for me consistently. It does not promise happiness, but it supports calmness. And calmness is something I need. I also reflect on how my taste has grown over time. I have tried many different foods, some exciting and new, some very different from what I knew before. I enjoyed many of them, and some left strong impressions. But still, I return to this favorite food. It feels like a home base, a place I can always come back to. New experiences are important, but so is having something familiar. My favorite food gives me that balance. It allows me to explore while staying grounded. When I share meals with others, I sometimes notice how different our food preferences are. People like different flavors, textures, and styles. I find that interesting and beautiful. It shows how personal food can be. Even so, when I talk about my favorite food, I often see understanding in their eyes. They may not love the same food, but they understand the feeling of having one. That shared understanding creates a small connection. Food becomes a language we all speak in our own way. My favorite food is part of my personal language. It speaks of calm, care, and simplicity. When I listen to that language, I feel more in tune with myself. I feel less rushed and less pulled apart. I think this is why I keep returning to this food, again and again. It reminds me of who I am and what I value. It does not change me, but it supports me. It stays quietly by my side, offering comfort without asking for anything in return. And as I continue through my days, I know that this simple, steady presence will remain, waiting patiently for the next moment when I sit down, take a breath, and enjoy another calm, familiar bite. As I move closer to the end of these thoughts about my favorite food, the feeling remains gentle and complete, like a quiet circle closing in a natural way. I realize that this food has never tried to be more than it is, and that is why it feels so right. It does not change to impress, and it does not disappear when things become difficult. It stays steady, waiting, patient and calm. Over time, I have learned to appreciate that quality more and more. Life often asks us to move fast, to decide quickly, and to react strongly, but this food invites the opposite. It invites stillness, softness, and attention. Each time I eat it, I am reminded that I can slow down, even if only for a few minutes. Those minutes matter. They shape how I feel for the rest of the day. I notice that after eating my favorite food, I often think more clearly. My thoughts feel less heavy, and my emotions feel more balanced. It is not magic, but it is real. It is the result of care, warmth, and familiarity coming together in one simple experience. I think that is why this food feels like more than just food. It feels like a small form of care that I give to myself. When I choose it, I am choosing comfort and calm. I am choosing to listen to my needs. That choice feels kind. Over the years, I have learned that kindness does not always come from others. Sometimes it comes from small decisions we make for ourselves, like what we eat and how we eat it. My favorite food reminds me of that gentle responsibility. It encourages me to treat myself with patience. Even on days when I am busy or distracted, the memory of this food stays with me, like a quiet reminder to breathe and slow down. Sometimes I do not even need to eat it to feel its effect. Just thinking about it brings a sense of ease. That tells me how deeply it is connected to my sense of comfort. As time goes on, I know that my life will continue to change. There will be new places, new people, and new experiences. My schedule may become fuller, or my days may become quieter. But I believe this food will continue to have a place in my life. It will adapt, just as it always has, fitting into new routines and new moments. It does not demand space, it simply accepts it when offered. That gentle nature makes it timeless. In the future, I imagine myself still enjoying this food, perhaps more slowly, with more awareness. I imagine savoring each bite with gratitude, knowing how much comfort it has brought me over the years. I imagine sharing it with others, not to impress them, but to offer warmth. And even if they do not choose it as their favorite, I hope they feel the calm it carries. In the end, my favorite food teaches me something simple but important. It teaches me that joy does not have to be loud, and comfort does not have to be complex. It can be found in repetition, in familiarity, and in small, steady moments. It teaches me that taking care of myself can be quiet and natural. As I finish this reflection, I feel the same calm that I feel when I finish a meal I truly enjoy. I feel settled, satisfied, and at ease. And just like after that meal, I carry the warmth with me, ready to return to it again whenever I need a moment of peace, a moment of comfort, and a reminder of the simple pleasure found in my favorite food.